Samkele, very good morning to you. So when and where are we expecting this meeting between Shaun Abrahams? Will there be a meeting? Will it be a phone call? What do we know? And when are we expecting that to happen today?
Well, Iveka, you'd have to understand that Shaun Abrahams yesterday during the portfolio committee looking into investigations into state capture and corruption did say that he will be informing the former president today on a decision whether to charge him on fraud, corruption and racketeering charges or not. He said he would do that as soon as he gets back to Pretoria here at the National Prosecuting Authority head offices here in Civilton in Pretoria. We don't know yet whether it would be through a phone call or a meeting, but he said that once he's informed the former president, he will then inform South Africans in general through a press conference. It's not yet confirmed whether that press conference will be today or tomorrow, but it does depend on when Shaun Abrahams gets a hold of the former president. But also you'd also understand that there was that court judgment yesterday which KSAC's application to not have Shaun Abrahams reveal to South Africans whether the NPA is charging President Jacob Zuma or not was dismissed. So I understand this has been a long-standing case, and also that question posed by EFF leader yesterday, Julius Malema, to President Cyril Ramaphosa on how much the legal fees of the former president have cost the state. Cyril Ramaphosa saying they've cost 15.3 million rand, but also saying there was a deal struck between the former presidents, former President Thabo Mbeki and former President Jacob Zuma, that the state would pay Jacob Zuma's legal fees, and should he be found guilty, then Mr. Zuma, the former president, will have to pay his own legal fees.
Well, so much controversy around this decision, around not just the issue of whether the former president should be facing these charges or should be charged, Samkele, but also about Shaun Abrahams and his role in all of this and his credibility. Just take us through that and why it is such a controversial thing, why the Shaun Abrahams issue itself is such a controversial issue.
Well, the Shaun Abrahams issue is controversial because it was President Jacob Zuma who appointed Shaun Abrahams as the National Director of Public Prosecutions, and also when the court ruled that his appointment was illegal and unlawful, especially after the golden handshake for the former NDDP, Olisi Nxasana, it was President Jacob Zuma and Shaun Abrahams who appealed that court ruling, and that ruling that the then Deputy President of the country, Cyril Ramaphosa, has to appoint a new Director of Public Prosecutions. It was then appealed by the then head of the Republic, President Jacob Zuma, and Shaun Abrahams. But since then, the new president of the Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa, has withdrawn his court application to challenge that ruling that Shaun Abrahams is unlawfully the National Director of Public Prosecutions. It's just the NPA, and Shaun Abrahams are appealing that ruling now. So that's where the controversy kicks in. And Shaun Abrahams has been largely seen as a Jacob Zuma lackey, and he would do anything that the former president wants him to do. And basically, he is here at the NPA blocking those charges against President Jacob Zuma from him seeing his day in court. So he's largely seen as a Jacob Zuma man than someone who's acting on behalf of South Africans and the criminal justice system. But also you've got the likes of Olisi Nxasana, who seemed to have been removed just because he wanted to prosecute and take Jacob Zuma to court to face those 783 counts of charges of corruption and racketeering that he faces, that dates back to 2006, when he was then sacked by the former president of the Republic, Thabo Mbeki, when Jacob Zuma was still the deputy president of the country. Remember those court appearances he had at the CR Swat in Pietermaritzburg, he had here in Johannesburg, and the ones he had at the Pietermaritzburg Regional High Court. You remember that Judge Chris Nicholson judgment that saw President Jacob Zuma being acquitted of rape against Kwezi. And also you'd seen the likes of Zwelinzima Vavi, Stumo Dlamini, and also Sihle Zikalala, Zweli Mkhize, Sibusiso Ndebele, all former ANC political heavyweights who were then at the side of President Jacob Zuma. A large number of those people have deserted him, and they are no longer in his political corner.
Well, all things considered, Samkele, and just going back to the Shaun Abrahams issue, like you say, he was seen as an ally, as a protector of the former president. Now, all those things considered, and the fact that he is fighting for his career, fighting to keep his job, what are the predictions? What are we expecting this decision to be under his new boss, who's President Cyril Ramaphosa?
Well, Yveka, one thing we've got to distinctively distinguish here is that we cannot preempt or speculate on what the final verdict will be. But I'm going to quote Glenys Breitenbach, the DA MP in Parliament and FedEx committee member, who said that the vast majority of the prosecutors here at the NPA have decided that President Jacob Zuma must be charged. She said those comments during the weekend at a gathering in Cape Town. So it would be rather interesting on what Shaun Abrahams truly reveals after he has spoken to President Jacob Zuma. But it would be surprising if he doesn't reveal that President Jacob Zuma would be charged on all those counts of money laundering, racketeering and corruption.